in overall crime, as well as the more severe crimes, that Muslims were about equally represented, slightly more,
Dude,
mostly because they're younger.
this guy's not a real
But now you're
person.
suggesting that they've got like genocidal capacities in the UK.
No, I'm saying the Manchester Arena bombing attack is genocidal. I'm saying okay. Here's a good question. Lonerbox. Would you say that the young man Jihad al-Shami, who stabbed a bunch of Jewish religious adherents at the synagogue in Manchester, do you think that his act of murder was genocidal in nature?
No. Murders are not genocide. That's not what genocide is. You don't know what genocide means.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god. Genocide is the destruction of an ethnic people, or political party or religion in whole or in part, orchestrated, premeditated beforehand, in which one of the five is contributed: destruction of the people, murder, killing, the persecution, the taking of babies and reallocation of babies to be raised in a different environment. Typically, when people point at the precedents of genocide, people point towards the Bosnian genocide. Like, for example, there is evidence of premeditation. For example, there are secret military orders that are being given out in order to direct the destruction of the Bosnian people. I believe it's Directive 5 or something like that, that specifically said, I want to make Srebrenica an inhospitable and like horrible, torturous place to live on purpose for the Bosnian people. I think that in addition, there are also tractors beforehand as placed as evidence that whatever, right? One of the massacres, if you try to isolate a massacre from the Bosnian genocide, that can be seen as a genocidal step in the entire scheme of the genocide in terms of Yugoslav Serbians trying to genocide Bosniaks, right? In addition, you can also take a look at the way that the Russians have been conducting genocide as well against the Ukrainians, right? Like, you can make an argument for that. The reason, and you don't even need like court proceedings or the ICJ to do it, okay? Like, for example, like what you can take a look at is like they are taking babies, they're kidnapping babies on purpose to be raised in Russian families. They also have chambers specifically for defiling and raping and killing people. They are targeting civilians on purpose, and they're destroying civilian infrastructure on purpose. And their rhetoric seems to be directed towards, oh, we don't even recognize Ukrainians as a proper ethnicity, and we want to erase that. So, there's like multiple acts of that, okay? In addition, there's also, I don't know. I think with the Rwandan genocide, I think the speed in which the genocide was carried out was also unnatural. The way that it's been carried out is like very much such a speedy thing in which a regular massacre does not like match up to the rate in which people were being killed during that entire thing. In addition, genocidal rape was utilized. Basically, men were sent in to men were raping women, in which the men had STDs, so that they can defile the future generations to make sure they are unable to produce newborn of that specific race. Very, very monstrous stuff. That can be considered a genocidal act, okay? Something like in Nazi Germany, even something like Kristallnacht could be considered a genocidal act, right? The mass targeting based off of ethnicity, specifically to destroy in whole or in part property owned by a specific ethnicity, that can be seen as a step of genocide. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm a nerd when it comes to genocide. I fucking love genocide. Not like that, but I'm a nerd when it comes to genocide, okay? Finally, they're talking about a subject I actually know a lot about, okay? Thank God. I actually did a lot of research on genocide on stream 2 years ago. Glad that it's paying off sometimes, okay? But
if you reinvent the word, sure, but...
Oh my God, you're so fucking retarded. You're actually so fucking retarded. I'm not saying that it's a genocide, because I understand that he killed only 2 people. What I'm asking you is this. Do you think Jihad al-Shami, in his murder of those Jewish...
It would not be a genocidal act because it is not a part of a master plan of the plan to conduct genocide. It's not premeditated in whole or in part. In order to conduct genocide, it's not being used as a way to target the British white people ethnicity specifically. So therefore, it doesn't really meet any kind of definition of a genocidal act or as a step in conducting a genocide. So really, is there really any kind of, is there really any kind of thing here? I don't fucking know. I don't know. There you go. Okay.
Those people of Jewish faith in that synagogue in Manchester, do you think that if he had it in his power to kill not just 10 Jews, but hundreds of thousands?
Okay, yeah, okay. So here's the thing, all right? I feel so much more confident talking about this, just mainly because, oh my god, I'm so glad I did the research. Holy shit. I'm so fucking happy I did the research. Oh, I'm so happy I did the research. Holy shit. I watched Destiny research stream? No. I did all the research myself.
Of Jewish people. Do you think he would do it?
Are you asking me if he was like genocidal, like he had a genocidal mindset?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Of course. That's my point, and that's what I was
Yeah, but that genocidal mindset wasn't used as a part of the act itself.
saying about the Manchester Arena bombing attack. The guy who did that had a genocidal mindset against English people.
But that's not what you said. You said that it was genocidal in nature.
I'm saying they have a genocidal mindset. Okay.
Okay,
it makes
so
sense.
okay, you can change your words, and that makes more.
Creating mass ditches for slaying Bosniaks is genocidal in nature, yes, but not this. All right, I'm sorry. If I'm hearing what the way that it's being described right now, yeah, that's not genocidal in nature. But
sense, but I'm happy to
that's
help.
what I meant the whole time.
Okay.
Okay. Do you agree with me that the Hamas attacks?
Why did this question come up? It came up because I was asking you if you could show me that Muslims had higher murder rates in the UK.
No, this came up because we're talking about demographics, and
you were making it sound like they had a genocidal capacity as an ethnic group, and I'm asking you.
By the way, I just want to say real quick that if we're really going to define this as a term of genocide, you realize that this actually unironically applies whenever any kind of leftist talks about like colonization as a form of genocide, right? If anybody talks about how colonizing a native a native population and like driving out all the natives and killing all the natives like is a step towards genocide or some shit like that, you realize that like Drew Pavlou would lose in all of these debates because using his own definition, all these things would apply. In addition, pro-Palestinians could even argue under his definition that that there is currently a genocide going on in Gaza right now, and IDF is currently conducting genocide. So this is why his definition is fucking retarded, right? Like the thing is that it's kind of funny that he brings up October 7. The reason why October 7 is considered to be a genocidal step is because October 7, like the thing is that there's so much evidence in terms of like how much Hamas hates Jewish people. Like they just inherently hate Jewish people, right? Their charter, their original charter before they revised it, had a clause that said like, oh yeah, like we have an issue with Jewish people in particular and we want to destroy them, right? And in addition, there may or may not be private orders to go and rape Jewish women. There's lots of rapes going on as well, but I don't think that necessarily has to do anything with genocide. But I'm just saying that, you know, that also happened. You could perceive that as genocidal rape. I'm not entirely sure. But in addition, like, yeah, they would like kill all of Israel if they could, and that would be perceived as genocide. Yeah. Anyway.
We have lots of white people who commit murder. We have some white people who commit acts that you would probably call genocidal in nature. You'd probably say that Darren Osborne was genocidal in nature, no?
Which one's Darren Osborne?
The guy who rammed a vehicle into a mosque.
Yeah, that he has a genocidal mindset.
Okay, so that's not relevant to the question of which group has a higher murder rate or which one is a higher threat in terms of
I'm saying the problem is that there's been a successive drumbeat of Islamic terrorist attacks in Britain carried out by men who do have genocidal mindsets against British people. In conjunction with that, you also have major Muslim influences in Britain like Muhammad Hijab and Dili Hussein who basically have genocidal mindsets against both Jews and British people. And that is the problem that I'm talking about, okay? And that's why when I said earlier that I think that the English people should remain a majority in England, I think it's similar to the fact that I want Jews to be a majority in Israel. Because I think that terrible things can happen.
Terrorist attacks can be seen as genocidal steps, but I would never ever grant that to a conservative. Like, I would never ever grant that to somebody like Drew Pavlou, who is a fucking inbred, single-celled amoeba, brain-dead, drooling vegetable, has trouble climbing out of bed because he is so entombed, body completely covered with tumors because he has 5 extra chromosomes. All right, I would never grant that to someone like Drew, but I would grant that to someone who is arguing good faith, someone who is actually keen on learning. Okay, because the thing is that terrorist attacks can 100% be genocidal acts, but there has to be the grander plan in order for the genocidal thing to be taken seriously, okay? There has to be, like, these terrorist attacks has to be part of premeditated steps leading up eventually to the completion of the plan of genocide, okay? Not just one-offs where a group hates another group. I mean, you can call that a genocidal act, but I would need to hear what the broader genocidal plan is, okay? But otherwise, you know, he's a fucking retard. He's a little shit.
And when people become minority groups,
apart from like the immigrants, I guess, becoming minority groups. I'm just
But
wondering
the immigrants are minority.
because
Of course,
for
the
some
immigrants
reason,
let's just clarify that. Of course, the immigrants are minority groups because they're immigrating to a country that is a different country to theirs. Of course.
yeah, but my point is that it's not a tragedy to be a minority inherently, is it?
Sometimes it can be a tragedy if you're a majority and you become a minority.
But not if you go to a country and you are a minority as a migrant. Like,
well, the country exists prior to you going there, so you don't have a right to become a majority in that country.
Oh my god! Please ask Drew. Please ask Drew. Please ask Drew if it's ethical for, like, is it okay to call colonizers? Like, is it okay to call colonizers, genociders? Like, is it okay to call, like, British colonizers genociders? Was the British Empire a bunch of genociders? Oh my god, that'd be such a fucking base question to ask. Holy shit! When the British was, like, the largest empire in the world back then, were they genociders towards Indians and native populations when they were running the plantations full of slaves? Were they genociders? Were they genociders? Oh my... Holy, please, Lonerbox. Okay, please. If there's any one argument, please make this argument, please.
You're an immigrant there. The country exists before you go there. Of course, you're not going to be a majority if you're an immigrant to that country.
I feel like I'm just going to try really hard to keep on something factual. You said that this came up because your one issue that you could come up with this being like the problem of white British people becoming an ethnic minority in the UK is that they might get genocided in 60 years. Well, I'm saying, why is it that despite having like 6.5% of the population right now is Muslim, why is there...
There's massive terrorist attacks all the time. Yes, that's a big problem.
Terror attacks are like murders, right? Like that's what they're doing. Why is their crime rate, even for severe crimes, about the same as for whites?
Okay.
Why?
Okay, so do you think that Hamas just committed a bunch of murders? It's just a criminal act.
I'm sorry. Where was this whip?
No, I don't understand anything. Dude, Hamas committing all that shit again is a step in genocide. Yes, because their end goal is the destruction of Israel. All right, unless they change drastically and to cancel the plan or some shit, their end goal from the very beginning was the destruction of Israel. That is in of itself their end goal. So one step that they take is October 7, and all the intifadas, right? Sorry, the second intifada. Sorry, my bad. Like this is part of their... Sorry, not even the second intifada, because I'm pretty sure Hamas was made 1 week after the second intifada. I don't fucking know, okay? But the thing is that, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Splash. We're talking about the UK. We're talking about Muslims in the UK.
I'm talking about politically motivated violence here, retard. It's not just... I'm not just talking about ordinary incidents of crime. I'm talking about politically motivated violence. That's what's really scary.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. I fucking... Dude. There is a difference between a genocidal act and a hate crime, okay? Dude, if you have a bunch of genocidal acts, like all genocidal acts are technically hate crimes, okay? Probably, most likely. Yeah, absolutely, actually. Like a genocide as a totem is the ultimate hate crime, right? Because you are trying to erase an entire fucking group, and because you hate them, okay? That's why you want to erase that group, right? From the face of the planet. But the thing is that, like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you're just describing hate crimes. Okay, they're just hate crimes then, okay? Like, you're just describing hate crimes. Moron. Inbred moron. Retard. Drew lives in Australia, but they're also genocide the native people. Yeah, but I don't know whether or not that's a deliberate action in which they have taken in order to take steps in order to erase that group of people, like Aborigines, right? Versus, like, they just conducted ethnic cleansing, which is different. Like, ethnic cleansing is different. You're driving the people off their land on purpose, so then you can replace them with the white population, but you're not necessarily seeking the destruction or extermination of that group, right? That's different. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
Even if it's happening at a rate that's about representative, even if it's like the same for if it matches like white murder rates. Why?
So politically motivated murders motivated by Islamic extremism are just occurring at a normal rate in Britain, a non-Muslim country. Is that your actual argument?
No, my argument is that you're calling them an existential threat to the UK, and I'm asking you, why would they be an existential threat if right now...
Yeah, they actually went, like, and tried to smoke them out completely? They had, like, extermination shit with average... Like, they planned out how to do it? Like, actually? Is there evidence for it? That's crazy.
I'm not saying Muslims are an existential threat. I'm saying Islamic extremists are an existential threat to the UK.
Okay, and I'm asking you, why are Islamic extremists in their actions such a minority of the Muslim population?
They're not a minority of the Muslim...
They tried to breed them to be white. Oh yeah, that is a genocidal step. But like, is that part of the grand plan to like make clean the slate of Australia from the natives? Like, if so, then that is genocide. Yes, that is genocide.
That's the problem. Look at what happened with the Manchester synagogue attack. There were so many people who justified it and said that it was Zionism.
Okay. What percentage?
Okay, this is a big problem. Okay, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this with Lonerbox. You saw this just as well as I did, Lonerbox. There were plenty of Muslim influencers in Britain who justified the Manchester synagogue terrorist attack on the grounds that they were Zionists.
Yes.
Correct.
If you want to have an argument...
Would you say that is an existential problem? Would you say that's an existential problem?
No, I don't think it's an existential problem. I think Britain has faced far worse.
Of course it is.
Britain has faced far worse than a few fucking like cringe, like terrorist fucking influencers living in the country. Yes, we have faced much worse than that and survived.
You're suicidal.
Yes.
You're literally suicidal. Dude, you're literally Jewish. You're literally suicidal at this point. You're happy with Islamic extremists living...
Wait, what? Wait, what? Did he just call... Wait, what? Just call him Jewish as an insult? Wait, I'm so confused. I thought he was like the king of Jewish people. I thought he was like the champion for Jewish people. What's going on here? Okay.
In Britain who want to kill you because you're Jewish. I don't.
What do you mean happy with them living here? If you want to have a discussion about paradox of tolerance, that is actually an interesting discussion. The problem is that you're not equipped to have it because you don't even seem to...
It is paradox of tolerance. If you want to have a tolerant society, you can't have Islamic extremists in it.
So you have to deport everyone who you consider to be an Islamic extremist?
Yes, Islamic extremists.
Hold on. Okay, I got a question. How many Islamic extremists exist now within Britain?
I would say basically everybody on the terrorist watch list. That's at least 35,000 people.
Okay. So why don't we just deport those guys? And why deport?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's literally what I would do. I would lower. This is my policy. I would lower migration by like 90% to allow people who are already in the country to assimilate, and then I'll go forward. And everyone who's committed a crime or anyone who has engaged in Islamic terrorism, who's engaged.
Hold on, progress check.
It would be zero. It would be zero.
Hang on.
It would. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
All you're going to get me to concede is that this case was an injustice. That's it.
Yeah, and that's a way to get around that injustice is the point, right? Like the problem is, you're like, hey, listen, we have no perfect solution to this. And it's like, yeah, we do have no perfect solution to possibly executing people erroneously. But, like, ignoring the fact that if you stop executing people, you can't...
Have we gained ground yet? Have we gained ground?
No, not really. Okay, so there's also a solution to having a perfect solution.
In Islamic extremism, who are on the terrorist watch list, who have done things like defend the Manchester synagogue terrorist attack, they would be deported. This is a good question. Lonerbox, do you think that Muslim extremists living in Britain who defended the Manchester synagogue terrorist attack, do you think that they should continue to live in Britain, or do you think they should be naturalized and deported?
I don't think you should deport someone.
Discord.gg/Foodshops. Okay, join in.
Right away for their speech, no.
Somebody who wants to kill you, who literally wants to behead you because you're Jewish.
Yeah, there are people who have incited riots and tried to kill people in this country who are local.
People debate 24/7. Yeah, pretty much.
As well. Yeah, I don't think deportation is necessarily the right answer.
You can't deport locals. You don't deport locals because exactly they're locals. They're part of the problem. You're always going to have a criminal native element, unfortunately. But it's a choice to have foreign Islamic extremists in your country. Correct.
It depends on, because if you want to have like a huge discussion about whether or not you can be sending people away to different countries where they might get like tortured or killed, or if they can even get sent to any other different countries, yeah, that's a difficult question. But again, you're not equipped to have the paradox of tolerance opinion because you want to reduce migration by 90%. Like that's not just accounting. That's not just accounting for extremists. There's something different going on there.
You know, the current polling in Britain is like 80% want like significant cuts to migration. And
by the way, nobody would ever truly disagree. Like, oh yeah, we should like cut out all the extremists. Like nobody truly believes in that. Like if they're an immigrant and they come to the country and they cause like a fucking terrorist attack, like yeah, of course you want to kick them out or fucking imprison them or some shit, right? But it seems like everything else that Drew have been arguing is just not really representative of like what his concerns are, I guess. Like it seems like if the solution of kicking out all the extremists does not satisfy Drew Pavlou, then what exactly does satisfy him? I don't know.
Want mass deportation.
Yes, and like something like half of people in Britain think that there's more illegal immigration per year than legal.
And you know why that is the case? I'll explain to you why. They think that people coming to the country, even on legal visas, are illegals because they look at people in car washes and they go, surely we could not be giving legal visas to people to just do car washing.
No, they think that because Nigel Farage...
That's literally why.
No, they think that because Nigel Farage in the media is dominated by hamming up what's going on. No. That's what's... yes, because Nigel Farage goes to the coast with his little fucking Fisher-Price binoculars and stares at people on boats all the time, and people think that's the biggest problem because it's dominating the story, because it's easier to see people coming in on boats. This happened in your country as well, in Australia. There were more people coming in by plane than there were coming in by boats, even before sovereign borders, but everyone thought the boats were the...
All you Twitter conservatives that whine about immigration like this argue the same. Yeah, they just whine about grooming gangs and rapes.
Problem, because you could see it, because people could film it and screech about it, even though most of us coming by plane.
Guess what, Lonerbox? And guess what, Lonerbox? I've criticized the Liberal government for doing that in Britain because, in Australia, sorry, the Liberal government used it as a bait and switch because they cracked down on illegal boat arrivals, but they also massively increased legal immigration. And I have a problem with that because I want them to lower legal migration too. So it's not even a good argument against me because I'm literally saying it's a dumb thing to focus only on illegal migration while allowing massive amounts of legal migration.
Yeah, so what's wrong with so out of interest then, for the legal migration system in the UK right now, what's wrong with the policies that we as they stand for legal migration?
I mean, there are people who are legally getting into the country who are not contributing.
What? Bro,
half the social housing.
Here, let me ask you directly.
That's not about the current standards. People who are on social housing in London could have been there for decades.
What restrictions on immigration that do not currently exist for Britain would you put? Like, what specific restrictions? Like, do you have to make so much a year? Do they have to wait for do a more severe background check? What current restriction on immigration that does not currently exist would you place to gatekeep who gets in?
Higher educational standards, higher income standards,
okay,
and also,
what standards?
and also very stringent social media background checks. You can't let anybody into the country who's justified October 7th.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. This isn't even consistent with like Drew Pavlov's like fucking like thing. You guys realize that, right? Like the thing is that like Drew Pavlov literally argued like based off of ethnicity that there is something inherently bad about like white people becoming a minority. Okay, fine. If that's the case, why not just make standards of immigration based off of race, right? Because you're essentially there. You are literally there. You are already trying to justify a solution that is based off of ethnicity. Why do you still need to go to like how like their education level? Why do you still need to go to potential IQ level? Why do you need to go to their employment status? Why do you need to go to any of these? Because the thing is that you're already arguing based off of there's something inherently good about preserving the native ethnicity. If you're already saying that that's the problem, none of these would actually solve it, because now I can justify, oh yeah, I can have a bunch of well-educated young black men or well-educated young Palestinians or like well-educated and high fucking affluent and well, but you would have a problem with that, right? You would 100% have a problem with that. What's the problem? Like, you are so fucking stupid. You're actually one of the most retarded human beings on the fucking face of the planet, okay? You are a worm, okay? A worm born to burrow into the mud, and you're a disgusting wench, okay? You're a man wench. That's what you are, okay? You are the result of generations and generations of inbreeding and dysgenic breeding, okay? You are the most lesser human of them all. You are not a part of the master race. You are meant to be replaced. Okay? And no one will mourn you when you're gone. Not even your father. All right?
Lonerbox, do you at least agree with me on that?
What, the checks that we've had for a pretty long time, yeah.
No, would you agree that it would be bad if people were allowed into the country who supported October 7 and Hamas?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay. But a lot of people have been allowed into the country who do support October 7 and Hamas. Do you agree that's a problem?
I mean, if we're talking about someone, like if we're talking about like some fucking student in like Germany or whatever who's made like a stupid fucking tweet, I don't really, again, like it's a balance, isn't it? You have to balance freedoms. You balance freedom of speech with your security of someone who's said some cringe shit on social media. Again, normally most people, like the 99.999% of people who have quote unquote justified October 7th on their social media will never do any violent crime ever in their life, right? Okay. So there's a balance there. And you understand this as someone who cares about liberal values, right?
Here's the problem, Lonerbox. Here's the problem. You would agree, you would understand this problem just as much as me, right? The problem is this. Even people who would not personally go out and literally slaughter the Yahud and behead somebody, it's still a problem if they're justifying it. It's still a problem because they create a permission structure that allows the most radical and extreme and psychotic people in their community to go out and do those crimes.
So anyone who supports like IDF war crimes or settler violence, they're not allowed in the UK either, right?
I mean, I don't necessarily have a big problem with that.
Yeah, you would just, okay, fine.
Sure. I mean, sure. If this is the trade-off, if the trade-off is we're not going to allow Islamic extremists into Britain, but also Kahanists aren't allowed into Britain, I'm fine with that trade-off. I don't care.
So, what's your problem with What's your problem with the current legal migration system as it stands right now with our requirements?
Because on the current levels of migration in Britain, the English people will be a minority in England by about mid-2040s.
Okay, I don't think you actually know.
It's too large.
Okay.
It's too large. The demographics are just too large. When you have migration at that level, it's impossible to assimilate people, and that's why you get this sort of incipient creolization that you're starting to see with like literally like.
I don't know what you mean by creolization. We've had
can you elaborate on that?
Rich country. we've had like migrant dialects in the UK for decades.
Yeah, but there's literally new English, there's literally new languages basically forming in Britain. Does that indicate that people are assimilating when people are literally in enclaves and they're literally forming new languages?
Well, the English of 1,000 years ago is fundamentally different than the English today. Is that a problem?
Yeah, exactly, dude. And that's over 1,000 years. It's not in just 20 years. That's the problem, the pace of change. If in 1,000 years' time, there was different changes to the English language, I've got no problem with it happening over 1,000 years. I'm saying it's a problem when it's compressed into a 20-year time span.
This is not a real fucking concern, okay? This is just like, there's nothing inherently wrong with any of this, okay? Like, there really isn't. Like, what is inherently wrong about language evolving faster or slower, right?
I have no idea what I'm talking to right now. We've had the development of migrants speaking slightly different with like accents and dialects in London since the 60s, 70s, 80s. Have you been to the UK? Like, what is this dialect you're talking about?
Multiple times. Dude, like, multicultural London English is like literally almost unintelligible in some ways from standard English.
So is fucking Ouija speak. I don't. What are you talking about? That is.
I'm just saying,
that's not a new thing. That's not multicultural London speak. Whatever you call it, it's not a new thing.
This is the thing. It's not even necessary. I'm not even putting shit on that necessarily dialect, because I get your point where you're saying, well, there's lots of different dialects and stuff like that. I'm not even putting shit on that dialect. The only reason I'm bringing that is to point to the fact that the migration numbers are so large that assimilation is not necessarily occurring. The migration rate is happening at such a high rate that literally new dialects are forming because of the large number of migration.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So it's like, what is this? What is
Yeah, but that's a natural thing that happens, right? Like, there isn't necessarily anything wrong with that. But you're trying to paint it as a problem when there is actually no problem. And that is where the issue comes in, because it just reveals that you are a heinous, fucking pathetic racist. Okay? You are a racist person. You are a pathetic, heinous piece of shit. Okay? I'm sorry, but there is nothing inherently wrong with white people becoming a minority, nor the evolution of dialects as a result of that, okay? So nothing inherently wrong. You're trying to make it an issue in the fucking first place because you are a fucking raging racist, okay?
This complaint is like, because some of them are speaking English slightly funny. Like, I don't understand. It's such a...
I'm sorry, but black people are cool, okay? Black people are cool and black samurais are cool, okay? So suck it.
Are you retarded? Dude, are you actually retarded? Are you retarded? It is an issue, because when you talk about assimilation, it's people absorbing into the mainstream majority English culture. But when people are literally forming their own dialects because they live in a segregated society, that is not assimilation. By definition, it's not assimilation.
So that's why I'm asking you.
I've looked at the data. There are literally there are literally streets and suburbs in Birmingham where there are literally like less than 1 or 2% white English people in those streets and suburbs. That is a problem. That's not even.
Why is it inherently a problem? Why is it inherently a problem?
Because England is a country for the English people.
It's just because, again, it's a circular. It's just because there's no tangible. Why should I care? Tell me why.
You know what? I prefer to not be next to like 10 fucking Five Guys, okay? Not to 10 fucking Five Guys and the Denny's and the In-N-Out and the McDonald's, okay? I want my Chinese restaurants, my fucking tortillas and fucking corn tortilla and fucking beans and cheese and like fried fish, like burritos, and I want my fucking lamb food from like from the Middle East, fucking Middle Eastern cuisine, okay? I'm here for my fucking lamb steaks, all right? And my fucking lamb barbecue, okay? I'm here for the Hawaiian food as well, all right? My fucking wonderful fucking fried white fish and fucking katsu chicken as well, from a combination of Hawaiian food and the Japanese cuisine, okay? Including like any other fucking culture. I'm sorry, but diversity is fucking awesome, okay? Like diversity is literally fucking awesome. It just creates better food. And I'm all for better food.
I care more about this than the NHS.
Also, like, dude, like, fuck, you want to eat like fucking mashed potatoes and gravy all day.
Yes,
like,
or about the economic growth, or about security and defense.
Why should you even care whether the English nation even exists? The English people should have a nation. It's their homeland. I would be sad
if still do have a nation.
If Jewish people were 2% of it. No, not if there are some parts of like their major cities where they're literally not even 1% of the population.
Out of interest, who do you think is which demographic do you think gets more privilege in London, say like economically, familial, whatever? Do you think it's like the English people in London, or the Bangladeshis, or the Indians, or the Pakistanis?
I mean, I'm sure because of like
ancestral.
I'm sure because of generational wealth transfers and stuff like that, the white English are probably still the wealthiest.
Just because of generational wealth?
Wait, did he say ancestral, or did he say ancestral? Ancestral, or did he say ancestral? Listen, both are true. Okay, I'm just saying both are true, technically speaking.
Well, yeah, but that's because of literally the fact that English people have been a majority in England for 1,000 years. So you would expect them to be wealthier, wouldn't you? Why would they not be wealthy?
It's not just because of generational wealth. It's also because it's like it is the country that they live in. Is it the country that they're familiar with? Is that they are better? They have more social connections. It's easier for them to make social connections. Yeah, there's a lot of. That's the point.
Because it's their country.
But they're a minority. But they're a minority in London. But they're a minority in London, right? And they've got a Muslim mayor. You know, but it seems like they still managed to come out on top.
Well, I still don't think London's necessarily a good example of integration and assimilation.
Compared to, would you rather it was like compared to where? What city? Like which country?
I mean, it's probably better than like it's probably better than Paris. Like the Benelux of Paris are fucked up, but it's not necessarily good compared to.
Real quick.
And they go in again, they have another 20% chance to reoffend, right?
No, my guess would be that people who are reoffend are probably more likely. Like it's probably like. People who reoffend are more likely to reoffend, and people who reoffend twice are even more like you're going to get diminishing returns on those people.
Bro, okay.
I don't know, like exactly. Tokyo like has much lower crime rates, much more social cohesion.
I'm glad that some things never change. Okay.
And also, it is culturally like a Japanese person from 500 years ago would be able to recognize the culture of Japan today. Obviously, there'd be technological developments, but the culture would be roughly recognizable. Whereas somebody from 500 years ago,
we're like less than 100 years off of imperial Japan in terms of recognizing the culture. Japan's changed quite a lot, even in recent history. They would not recognize the Japan of 500 years ago.
Yeah,
or
look,
comfortable. Like,
hold on.
The
A Japanese guy from the 1930s coming to 2025 Japan would commit seppuku. I mean, they would be like,
no, they wouldn't. Dude, there's still the essential cultural continuity of Shinto as the majority religion. There's the essential cultural continuity of the language, of the demographics. They look around and the country is still ethnically Japanese. Whereas somebody who was ethnically English who came to London. Okay. Here's a good question though. Imagine you could transport Shakespeare 500 years into the future and he's walking through Tower Hamlets. Would he think that London had been conquered by a foreign nation?
Conquered?
Yes.
Hell no.
I don't know what he would think.
What the fuck? No, Shakespeare is probably like, bro, it's so cool that these people are covered in tar. I don't fucking know. Like he would probably be like, bro, you know what? This is wacky, but I kind of live with it. I kind of fuck with it. Okay.
Be so far removed from like 50 billion different. He'd probably be looking at the tube and being like, "Wow, it goes so fast." Yeah, I don't know. Would you think he'd rather? Do you think he'd rather live in all? Do you think he'd rather live in all white English England or today?
No, that's not even necessarily my argument. I'm just saying he would probably be pretty surprised.
Well, no, because it does. Because it seems like you want to put.
The demographics of London have been terraformed.
It seems like
completely terraformed.
It seems like you want to put our economic well-being and our healthcare system and our welfare system. You want to put that behind the demographic and the aesthetic of the country.
Well, not even the aesthetic of the country, just the cultural continuity of the nation.
What culture? Okay,
I'll explain to you. I'll explain to you.
Just
I'll explain to you.
Okay, explain real quick, then I have a question for Lonerbox, and I have a question for you.
In the context of Australian politics, for example, I care more about the fact that in 60, 70 years' time, my children would live in a culturally recognizable Australia. I care about that.
Yeah, Shinto isn't. Yeah, like, dude, it's you're just talking about like a different like sect of Buddhism, right, or some shit. Yeah.
More than, for example, debates over whether tax should be raised 2% or lowered 2%. Because the essential cultural continuity of the nation is something that's very important to me, and I think it would be bad. Like, do you think?
Or about whether or not we can have a functioning healthcare system for our old people?
Okay, Lonerbox. What do you think is a more important question in Israeli politics? Whether the tax rate should be raised 2 or 3%?
I don't know why you keep trying to appeal to Israel. Israel is a country with so much more unique challenges than the UK. Like you know full well that Jews do not have the same experience with demographics as fucking white people in England. It is not a comparable experience. Why are you doing that?
Dude, this is hold on.
Because we're both Zionists. I'm appealing to a common standard here.
For Lonerbox.
Do you think I'm Jewish, Drew?
Sure. Well, I know you're a Zionist, so we're both Zionists.
A Zionist in what sense? And what? That I think Israel shouldn't be destroyed. That's as far as it goes for me.
I'm the same. That's me. Same with me too.
So just because I think Israel shouldn't be destroyed because Jews are in a very unique position in the world does not mean that I'm going to tremble at the thought of like demographics shifting in somewhere like the UK, as they already have in certain cities. Because
but it has
because I can because I if you're going to talk about demographics, to me demographics is just about it's your ethnic makeup, it's your origin, your national origin. It can be about culture and preferences, but you'd have to show me why there is a specific reason why this or that demographic can't be a minority. I can make that case very clear for Jews.
Okay, hold on. No, I'm gonna throw Frag on the play because this question goes directly to his point, and then I'm going to question for you, Drew, and we'll bring you back in. I promise. Lonerbox. Okay. Do you understand why, again, historically, when a culture or a group has gone from the majority to the minority, they usually get less wealthy, less favorable conditions under the law. They tend to be persecuted to various degrees. You can understand why a person who is in the current majority might not want to become a minority. Could you understand?
Actually, sorry. I just worked out. I actually didn't realize this in Lonerbox. Sorry, I genuinely thought you were Israeli, but you're Lebanese instead. Sorry, I didn't realize.
We all look the same, man.
It's all.
I'm Cypriot.
I mean, yeah, good one, Drew. Okay, you're really a champion. You're really a champion of the Jewish people. Okay, you don't even know. You don't even know anything like about anyone. Actual fucking shameless grifter, dude.
Well, we're literally 11. No, but like we actually literally.
I do want Lonerbox to answer my question though.
What about being a minority?
Yes, you understand why someone who is currently in the majority makeup of a country might have issues or fears or problems with becoming a minority because of, again, historically, when you go from majority to minority, please, when you go from majority to minority, you usually get less wealthy. You usually have a lot more persecution under the law and things like that, and you less favorable to you overall. So you can understand why someone might be hesitant.
I think it depends on quite a few. There's nothing inherent that guarantees that, right? So it depends on how you manage it. It depends on how you manage things like immigration. It depends on.
Be the case over history. Not every time, but a majority.
Okay. At the same time, that happens in the UK, even if we stop migration completely. White people in the UK don't have as many babies as foreign-born people. But again, there's always this problem with projecting a current trend into perpetuity. So people make those estimates that Drew did about 2075, whites will be an ethnic minority in Britain. That's
it's not 2075, it's like 2040. No, it's like the mid-2040s.
I looked up the article. I looked up the article. It's 2075.
No, it's literally it's mid-2040s. It's literally
in some portion of the future. Got it. Okay, we can go on.
Yeah. The fact is that.
No, let Lonerbox answer my question, then I'll ask you a question, Drew. I promise.
Okay, yes. In 15 years, we will be less than 49% fucking native born. Okay, sure. The fact is that when you project a current trend into perpetuity, say an unprecedentedly high spike of net migration, which has already been cut in half within a year. If you take that and you also take into account birth rates, which are also declining for locals as well as for migrants, because when migrants come here, they actually, they have less babies than they would when they're in their host country. That's because, like, despite what a lot of people say, they do generally become a little bit more like us. Even in terms of, that's what I said about the grooming gangs, they commit similar crimes to us because doing that, like taking young girls into a car with alcohol and drugs, and that's what locals do in the UK. That's what local abusers do in the UK.
It's literally not. That's fucking insane.
You don't live in the UK, Drew. You have not grown up in the UK. You don't know. You don't know.
Lonerbox. It is literally a fact that some of the ringleaders who were convicted in court screamed in court that they did it because the girls were white British.
Yes, because someone screamed at a girl calling her a white slag in court. That does not change the overall nature of the crime.
No, they literally admitted that it was racially based. It wasn't just that they were white slag. They said we did this because the white British raised their kids as sluts.
Really? And
that's what he said.
Okay. So that changes the entire nature of the crime then. The fact that
a couple of genocidal.
The fact that a couple of offenders. Oh, it's genocidal grooming.
It was.
Okay, I see, yeah.
Yes. Well, the rape gangs were, the mindset behind the rape gangs was genocidal. 100%. 1,000%.
Believe it or not, and this is probably why all the people who write these reports did not say that, Drew, the professionals who actually understand these criminals and these people and the victims, people abuse and rape for the same reason that every ethnic group does it generally. It's because they think they can get away with it. It's because they like power. It's because we're fucking animals at the end of the day and some of us are really shit.
Let me dispute that. Here's a quote.
Genocidal grooming gang. Kill me, man.
Let me explain this. The ringleader of the fucking listen to me. The ringleader of the Pakistani men convicted of child rape in Rochdale, quote, "We are the supreme rates, not these white bitches. White people trained these girls to be so much more advanced in sex." Like, he literally said he's the supreme race. Do you think that's not a genocidal mindset? Of course it's a fucking genocidal mindset.
I don't think you know what genocide means, but you can keep saying it like it's your... That's fine.
Oh my God. You're actually retarded. I'm saying the mindset is genocidal.
You're speaking... I don't understand.
Do you deny the quote? The quote is this. The quote is this: "We are the supreme race, not these white bitches." Do you think calling yourself the supreme race in the context of raping somebody is a genocidal mindset?
One of these days, I will stop being randomly purity tested by fucking idiots who don't know what genocide means.
But I'm giving you a good example. You can't answer. You can't answer because I'm fucking right. I'm right, so you can't answer.
No, I don't think that's what genocide is. That's not what.
Oh my god, dude, he's so embarrassing. Like, can you just like stop fucking spurting out like a fucking dysgenic like hack fuck? Like, why the fuck is he even acting? God, this is like so fucking embarrassing, dude. Like this is like, can somebody come and like fucking pick him up from school or some shit? Like, I'm pretty sure this dude is like late for his fucking English literature class or some shit. Like, holy shit.
The crime and the category was ever created for. That's not what it was enforced for.
I'm saying it's a genocidal mindset. It's genocidal in mindset.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's genocide. I'm saying that the mindset behind it is genocidal. Because he said he's the supreme race.
Isn't all bigotry then genocidal mindset to you?
No, this is another level to just bigotry on the streets because this is somebody who raped somebody.
Also, it's the act as well, but you're saying it's just the mindset. So anyone who commits a hate crime, anyone who like assaults someone because they're black is genocidal now?
You're actually retarded. He organized a child rape gang, and then he said in the context of that child rape gang that he was the superior race, and that he did it because he believed he was the superior race. That is a genocidal mindset. Do you not agree?
I feel like I'm sort of like telling a mentally ill person that their feelings are invalid. I don't understand. That's not what the word genocide means.
I can't help you if you're retarded. I can't.
Okay, well, what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do now?
Okay, no. Let me ask one question. Okay, Lonerbox. If a white British person carried out a rape gang targeting people of another ethnicity, and then he said in court, "I did it because I believe that I'm the superior race." And that we're the supreme race and that we are entitled to do it. Would you say that the mindset behind that is genocidal? It is so fucking obviously genocidal.
Do you think I'm going to flip my answer because you made the offender white?
But it's true though, dude. If a white guy did that, if a KKK guy did that, okay, fucking facts. If a KKK guy did that in the South, in the United States South, in like the fucking Jim Crow era, and he literally said, "I'm raping people because I believe I'm."
Yeah, that's called a hate crime. That's called a hate crime. Like, what do you want? Dude, oh, fuck. It's a hate crime. That's what it is. We call that a hate crime, dude.
The supreme race. Everyone would say that guy's fucking genocidal in his mindset.
So if someone rapes a woman because he thinks that women are like kind of objects just to be used for male pleasure, is that genocidal as well?
I'm talking about the fact that they brought the racial element into the equation means that their mindset was genocidal.
So if it's racial, it's genocidal, but not if it's on gender or an ethnicity or nationality or religion.
Do you agree that the rape of Nanking, when the Japanese soldiers raped people in the city of Nanking, it was a genocidal act? It was basically born out of a genocidal hatred towards China.
Yes. Why do you think that's different from a groomer committing a domestic crime?
I'm saying that a Pakistani ethnic supremacist who literally declares that he's doing rape gangs in the UK because he believes he's the supreme race, that is a genocidal mindset in the same way that the rape of Nanking comes from a genocidal mindset.
Okay, yes, the groomers are genocidal. What changes exactly?
I'm saying that the mindset behind...
Why is that concession so important to you? I'm just curious now.
Of course it changes, because if there are people doing genocidally... Because if there are genocidal motivated rapes in Britain, I think there's a big problem if white ethnic English become a minority in their own country. Because there are people who are carrying out rape gangs in Britain against white English kids based off a genocidal mindset. So I therefore think it would be bad if white English people became a minority in their own country.
Okay. I do want to.
That's true. What's wrong with that statement? Tell me what's wrong with that, please, Lonerbox.
I do want to get the super chats real quick, and I got to make a little money. So if you have a question or a comment for either of these two gentlemen or for me, please send in your money. Helps the stream, keep the stream up and running, all that stuff.
Lonerbox needs to debate more frequently. Like, this guy is a really good debater. Not only does he have like really good fucking beliefs, but he's also a really good debater. He should honestly debate more frequently. Also, I don't know why Lonerbox isn't invited onto Live and Learn. I feel like Lonerbox would be the perfect candidate for Live and Learn. But no, we have to have fucking Soy Pill. Dude, can you imagine like having Soy Pill on instead of Lonerbox? Oh my god, just kill me.
Here's $5 from Lawson Harrison to say, go eat your mound of cornflakes. So thank you for that, $5, I suppose. $10 from Fancy Teeth to Drew. Admit it, Drew. You don't care about the crime itself.
I don't know what's considered genocidal food when it's a step in the grand conspiracy to commit genocide. When you're taking steps to commit genocide, that is genocidal. Simple.
You care about the perceived affront to the quote-unquote soul of Britain. You are projecting on the victims. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I'll respond to that. The leader of the Pakistani rape gang in Rochdale said that he did it because he believed he was the supreme race. He has a genocidal mindset. So I therefore think that racially motivated rapes against children in Britain because they are white, I think that's a really negative thing for a nation. I think if foreigners are coming
He hinted that he was going on Lebanon after this debate. What? Did he actually?
to a nation and they're carrying out genocidally motivated rapes. They're carrying out rapes based off the idea that they are the supreme race. I think that's an existential problem for a nation.
So because one or two foreign rapists said that
because the ringleader, dude, he was the ringleader of the rapes in Rochdale. He was the ringleader.
I know the other guys would never have raped. The other guys would never have raped without the ringleader telling them to do it. Right? Yeah, like what were they like the soldiers?
He organized the child rape gangs, and he said in court that he did it because he believed he was the supreme race. I think that's an existential problem for England as a nation, that there are foreign nationals coming to Britain, refusing to assimilate, and then carrying out sexual violence based off the idea that they are a superior race to the English people.
And because this guy who was jailed, that means we should stop getting Muslim immigration into the country, because
I think people
from Rochdale from 20 years ago said that harsher vetting. These were second generation harsher vetting. These were second generation immigrants.
I just wouldn't even honestly. I just wouldn't even allow Drew to move past the point that he doesn't understand genocide. Yeah, fuck. Oh, fuck. This is why you need to do research, okay? Because I feel like I just have an entire mountain of data in my fucking head, and a mountain of evidence in my head to fucking debate anybody on genocide. I am the genocide expert, okay? I am the one.
You can't vet out second generation.
Dude, can you understand? That's worse if they're second generation immigrants. Because
Why?
The second generation is supposed to be assimilated. The second generation is supposed to be assimilated because they're born here. If they're still not assimilated to the extent that they're carrying out rapes based on the idea that they are actually the superior race, that's a fucking disaster for
Why do you keep saying they about it? You're talking about a group of offenders, less than a couple of dozen of them out of hundreds of thousands of people. Why do you keep saying they to apply to a group of immigrants? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Because they operated with impunity.
That's a very genocidal generalization that you just made. That to an entire group of people.
No, it's not. They operated with impunity, retard. They operated for 20 years with nobody stopping them. They had to have been widespread knowledge in the Pakistani communities. They had to have been. It's so obvious. It was so out there in the open. And there's all these stuff, for example, the J report into the
Yes, I understand that this would probably be the very first time in British history where someone got away with raping and a bunch of people knowing about it for a long time.
But they're racially motivated rapes. That's why it's worse, retard. Racially motivated rapes.
No one who is a professional who has ever worked in this field, who's ever produced any of these reports you're talking about, has described these as racially motivated rapes.
Because they're retarded!
Excuse me? Excuse me? Appeal to authority?
Because they're literally
because they have a better understanding. Maybe because they have a better understanding of why rapists rape.
Read the court transcripts. The ringleader literally said he did it because he believed he was the supreme race.
I don't think you even understand the case. Do you know why? Do you know why that matters?
Let's go through it. Hey, Lonerbox, let's go through it, okay? So a guy comes in. He's convicted of leading a rape gang. He says that he does it because he's the supreme race. And then the authorities go, we can't tell why he did it. They're doing that because they're trying to avoid race riots, retard. And that's been there in all the reports. All the reports found that they deliberately, over time, systematically, over decades.
You know what? I'm happy to, okay? I'm glad that Drew Pavlou is spurking out live for us on cam, okay? Bro is being caught in 8K.
The recent report that was released in June said that there was systematic underreporting and shying away from the fact of the ethnic perpetrators because they wanted to avoid community unrest. This is there in the report.
To avoid community unrest was to do with publicizing the case before everything had been pulled together.
No, that's wrong.
You're lying. You're just lying about the report. You are not going to tell me. You are not going to tell me.
Brother, you shut up. Lonerbox can respond. And then you can continue, Drew. But
this is just a lie. There's nothing in that report that says that they withheld or suggests even that they withheld a hate crime charge or a genocidal mindset charge or whatever the fuck because they didn't want to cause cultural. How would that even make sense? How would that even make sense? No. I'm not finished. You're interrupting me.
Hold on, Drew. Once he's finished, you can respond uninterrupted. I promise you. Finish your statement, Loner. Lou. Loner, finish your statement, and then Drew can respond.
Sorry to interrupt your interruption, but no, the reason that Jay and Casey and all these people who do these reports have never said that they did this because of a genocidal mindset or because there was a racially motivated rape. The reason that they don't say that is not because they are trying to de-racialize the issue. Why would that make any sense? These reports are literally the reason that you know that people avoided the case because they wanted to avoid race riots. That report, the Jay report, calls out the council for being too overly sensitive about race issues. Right. That's what the report says. So why would Jay not say that this was a genocidal act if it actually was, or a genocidal mindset, or a hate motivated crime? It makes no sense. Why would Jay not say it?
Okay, now you can respond, Drew. Go ahead.
Okay, for fuck's sake. The reports found that for these crimes were known about in the local community for a very long time, and police shied away from even charging people and dealing with this crime because they were scared that they would be race riots. So the reports show that there has been a systematic problem whereby, in order to avoid race riots and community tension, the British authorities have essentially looked the other way. Given that widespread culture of looking the other way, I don't expect that the independent report is going to come out there and say these were racially motivated crimes. They're not going to say that because they know that's an explosive claim. But I can see from the actual transcripts of the guys who did it, who said in court that they did it because of racial reasons, that I can see with my own eyes that it was racially motivated. So that's my problem, okay?
But you acknowledge, so Jay was willing to call out the council for avoiding race issues. She was willing to call out the police, the small handful of police officers who said that they were avoiding it because of race. Jay was willing to do that, but she wasn't willing to call it a racially motivated crime?
Why? They're not going to do that, yes.
But she's willing to make the explosive claim, which was that they were doing it out of political correctness and to avoid racial sensitivity. She's willing to make those claims, but not to say that it's a racially motivated crime. Why is one more explosive than the other?
Lonerbox, do you really think that anybody in the British state is capable of going out there and saying that Pakistani men raped English girls because they were English? No one is going to say that because they know it would lead to race riots. But the reality is that
it already did lead to race riots. What did?
It would be significantly worse. And here's the problem, though: the actual ringleader said in court that that's why they did it.
So you think Jay is avoiding calling it racially motivated crime? I'm not blaming Jay.
I don't think anyone could say it. I don't think anyone could say it.
Why?
I'm not blaming Jay.
Because what? Because
it's too explosive.
So why did she write the report at all? The report was explosive. The report called out racial sensitivity.
Yes, but it's another level to say that Pakistani men in these towns are explicitly raping people because they're English. That's
really? So you can say that. You can write a report that basically implicates cops for avoiding helping rape victims for years because they're afraid of political correctness or whatever the fuck. She's allowed to do that. She's allowed to also give a billion other reasons in that report for why they neglected those victims. I don't suppose you know what those other reasons are or care about them. Do you actually? Do you know? Since we're off of the... Do you know why? For example, the unwillingness by the council to pay attention to it because of racial issues, or the cops, I think a couple of them...
The council was dominated by Muslim councillors.
I think a couple of cops saying that they didn't want to pursue it because they were afraid of political correctness, even though most of the other cops actually said that there wasn't an issue with going after race, because they go after black people all the time. Why would they care? In the 2000s of all times, right? What were the other issues that she called out?
There was also the problem that poor white working class English girls were systematically treated with sexism by the British police and the institutions of the British state. They basically, a lot of them were written off as sluts, and that's a disgusting thing.
Yeah, what else?
That's the main explosive thing, that the British state also just massively failed these girls by basically saying, oh well, they're all sluts.
So the failures of the police, the failures of the police was one of two fairly systematic issues, and it wasn't political correctness. Political correctness was not seen as a primary issue. I just wonder if you know what the other one was.
There was the class-based issue that the girls were basically...
No, but I know the class-based issue, but what else? There was another one. There's another big one.
No, tell me
the real political correctness is whenever conservatives love fucking virtue signaling about race issues, only when it's convenient, okay? That's the real political correctness, okay? The other forms of political correctness, all right? No one ever talks about real political correctness, okay? Whenever, the only time you ever care about Ukrainians is the fucking pinning of the one Ukrainian woman who died in the fucking subway car, stabbed to death by a black person. Talk about political correctness. That is the real political correctness, okay, if anything else. Complaining that liberals and lefties are not talking about this enough, right? That is actually political correctness. None of this fucking bullshit, but yeah.
Why do you know? Okay, the fact that you don't know tells me everything.
Tell me, because I haven't read the report in 6 months. Okay, that's why I don't know it off the top of my head.
Well, it gets a lot more pages and words on it than the fucking political correctness thing does. But anyway, it's about how I read the whole report. It's about how there was a failure of councils and authorities to build any bridges or outreach options for victims. The fact was that cops occasionally did look into those communities. The problem was that they had no idea where to go or who to speak to, and there were actually women in that area, specifically women, who did actually want to make contact. They did have information, but there just wasn't enough of a connection or an outreach place there wasn't any safe places for victims to go. No, that's why one of the you can call the people who made the report that you are relying on coping, but it is a fact that in these communities, as it is actually the case for quite a lot of people, is that the issue with foreign communities, like you say, communities that are a bit more insular, a bit more enclosed, but that we know less about them, the issue that happens there, and this is also the same thing that happens with Sharia councils, is that it's difficult for the state to get involved, and they don't make enough effort to get involved because there is a lack of outreach from or a middleman between victims and authorities, and that's why some of the recommendations that always comes out of these reports is not to investigate genocidal mindsets of the Muslim migrants. It's to give victims and a place where they can actually go to talk to people so that they can get in front of authorities and get their claims heard, and also to give the authorities, say the police, a better understanding of these communities so they know who to talk to and how to get trust out of them to get information from them. That is significantly seen as more important in these reports than the genocidal mindset of the offenders or the political correctness of a few cops who were just looking for an excuse. But you don't care.
This is so stupid. Like, this guy is so fucking unserious, dude. Like, I can't believe it. I literally cannot believe it. Like, this guy is just such a fucking... God, he's just such a pathetic loser, dude. Like, if anything else, like, it infuriates me how, like, pathetic this guy is. Like, this guy is, like, actually so fucking pathetic.
About that, because your priority is not victims. Your priority is making the Britain more British. Whatever the fuck that means.
Lonerbox, do you think that there were any cultural problems in the Pakistani community that perhaps led to their...
Way to just dodge the fucking point completely, but yes, of course there are... Yes, of course there are problems in certain immigrant communities. Yeah, of course there are.
One second. Sorry, I dropped something.
Okay.
Nice, good one, loser.
What did he drop?
Nerd.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe he finally dropped his balls. Maybe he finally went through puberty.
Been a spirited debate.
Oh, also, wait, in case you were wondering, the point of that reference of him talking about like raping his victim because of like they're white and they're more submissive or like more sexually available, that's because the profiling of these grooming gangs was to literally JCPOA, the other one of the original studies from 2010, they separated these gangs into two groups. There was one which was the pedophile rings who specifically targeted kids because they were underage, like they had a specific interest in children. And then there was type 2, which was the most of the Muslim.
You know what? There is only one thing left that Drew Pavlou is able to hold on to at the end of this debate, and that is his virginity. Actually, I think he lost it because he got fucked by Lonerbox so hard, but, you know.
Grooming gangs fell into.
Everyone has to pop their share sometimes, okay?
Which was sexual opportunism. So when he's saying that, like, we went after them, like, these people, we chose them because, like, they're white and they're, like, slags and all that shit. Like, the reason that was brought in was because the typical profiling of these groups is that they're sexual opportunists, that they would go around in cars, mostly at night, and offer young girls, like, alcohol and drugs and favors and gifts and try to, like, woo them in so that they could eventually start, like, abusing them and taking advantage of them. And obviously, when they were out at night, the people who they typically had access to because of demographics and also because, like, Muslim parents are more strict and everything, the people that they had access to were white girls. That's why that comes in. It's because they were seen as sexual opportunists. That's what professionals assess them as. But anyway.
Sexual opportunists, but...
Genocidal sexual opportunists. I'm so sorry. Yeah, they just missed that.
Well, literally, the ringleader in Rochdale literally said he did it because he believed he was the supreme race. Are we just going to ignore that? That's a pretty explosive thing.
Why is it a pretty explosive... Okay, whatever.
I have more...
I don't know. There must just be no other...
Let's go through this for a second. Why is it an explosive thing that the ringleader of a child rape gang in Britain said that he did it because he was the supreme race, that the Pakistanis were a supreme race over the British? Why is that an explosive thing? I wonder why that is politically explosive.
Yeah, no, I can think of no other. I can think of no other reason that men would rape. I can't think of any other like more pressing reason that they would do that.
Okay, here's a good question. So there was one really, really horrific incident in the grooming gangs. It involved a young girl who was raped by a Pakistani grooming gang.
I don't know why, like, all the fucking conservatives, like, just reveal their fucking, like, there's literally no fucking, there's no filter, I feel like, or shaming done to conservatives whose entire sexual fantasies involve big black cocks penetrating small young white little girls, okay? Why is that? She
got to the police turned her back, and then she was picked up off the street by another person, a completely random who was not part of the original grooming gang, and then she was
like, just like, listen to the way they even talk about these. It's like, oh my god, this big black Nigerian with this 12-inch cock, dripping, soaking wet, penetrating into the little tiny itty-bitty white girl hoonie Okay? Forcefully. With vigor. Like, dude, are you okay? Like, you okay, dude?
Raped again. Tell me, why is there that cultural problem that in the same night she could run into two separate, completely random Pakistani guys and be raped? That's fucked. That would not happen in Japan. That would just simply not happen in Japan.
Really, that specific instance would never happen in Japan.
Dude, no. Oh, bro does not know about the statistics.
You
Are
think
you serious? Like, what the fuck?
Yes.
I don't know if this is news to you, but like in every society, men are kind of shit. Like, yeah, men rape. Sorry, like what the fuck?
Yes, but some
Out of
societies
interest, is there any
where some societies have much higher incidence of rape. Some societies have much higher incidence of rape.
Where is your is this the ringleader of Rochdale? This is Shabir Ahmed. That was his name, right?
I will send you the source. Let me give
Is this from the J report?
I'm pretty sure rapes in Japan are underreported. Like from what I see, just simply because like women are possibly ashamed, or they're just looking to move on, or like they're afraid of backlash or something like that. Yeah.
Let me get through these other super chats.
It wasn't in the J report.
$5 from Psychor to say, I just tuned in, so I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just going to believe the guy with the glasses.
Underreported.
Thanks for narrowing it down, and thanks for the $5. And then $5 from Testicle Johnson. Do you think Margaret Thatcher effectively utilized girl power by funneling money into illegal paramilitary death squads in Northern Ireland?
Are you asking that too?
I know that meme.
I don't know. It's a question for $5.
Thatcher was a girl boss. Thatcher was a big time girl boss.
Noted. $5 and then $5.
Is this talking about the Never mind. Okay, whatever.
Sorry, £5 from Freshly Exhumed. Going back to the dialects, did Cockneys fail to assimilate because of rhyming slang? That's to you, Drew.
It's so different to like literally like we're talking about like slight accents versus completely new languages. So yeah, that's very different.
It's not a completely new language, but okay.
Well, like
it's a dialect.
There are all these.
It's barely a dialect. You can understand what they're saying if you're from here.
It's basically like a new Creole type language.
Okay.
That donation was referencing a Spice Girl coming on to Eric Andre's show. And the Spice Girl is known to be pretty conservative, I think, like one of the Spice Girls. And she is a fan of Margaret Thatcher. So Eric Andre prepared the line. Well, do you think that Margaret Thatcher... Oh, yeah, I think she said that, Margaret Thatcher had a lot of girl power. And then it's like, well, how do you feel about Margaret Thatcher funneling money towards paramilitary death squads in Northern Ireland or some shit when they were combating against the fucking... I don't know, the fucking Irish independence, like fucking terrorists. Fuck, what's their name? What's the terrorist... What's it called? IRA, yes.
You said that you were getting this guy's statements from the...
Because the IRA really wanted Margaret Thatcher to be dead, okay? They fucking hated Margaret Thatcher. Well, the main groups of IRA. IRA is a very broad term for what can be splinter cells of many, many, many various groups. Some more extreme than others.
From the court transcripts.
I've got it. I'm trying to send it to you. Hang on.
Is this the guy? Does this have his name? It should have his name there, right? Shabir Ahmed.
And not to be confused with IRA.
I need to make sure that Shabir Ahmed. I'm going to send you the original article was taken down by Rochdale Online. So I'm going to send you the original article that was taken down, and then I'll send you as well the book that I cited.
They're trying to censor it.
But to be fair, it was 9 months ago, so
this isn't from court transcripts, like you said, right?
It was reported by journalists who were in the
transcripts. Court transcripts.
Okay, Drew, we're gonna have to learn you how to Discord.
Because I recall someone calling one of the victims a white slag. I don't recall such a categorical statement as "I did this because I am racially superior," but we can see.
I put the links in the group chat for you, Lonerbox, if you want to check them out.
Wow. Sex.
Okay, as we check those out,
I'd
like to thank everyone for coming, right? And
what book is this from, out of interest? Sorry.
Yeah, well, I told you that because I haven't... This was 9 months old. I don't have the book off the top of my...
Wait, we can finish this, right? Dude, that's so long. Dude, I can't. Oh my god. Dude, there's still an hour left? Oh. Okay. I'm gonna save this link, okay? Because there clearly is some left to go, but I can produce multiple videos off of this. Watching some food shops? Dude, you don't have to watch me just for universe underscore. Or Hugh Jazzboy. You don't have to watch me. It's okay. Like, just go and watch someone else. Jesus. Like, who's forcing you to watch me? Alright. Um... I forced myself to be here, based. Me? Ooh. Wait, is there anything that I need to take a look at, like, last minute, before I end stream? Bro, I think I'm cooked. 150 concurrent, on average. Dude, it's over for me. Oh, sorry, 170, 180 in total? Bro, I'm cooked. It's over. My career is over, guys. Okay. It's time to call another hiatus. And, go through bottom surgery or something. Where, wait. Escape. Wait, is this person even live streaming right now? What the fuck? Drake Sherman didn't say to George Floyd. No. Yeah, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. This is it. It's over for me. Yeah, it's been nice while it lasted. True. Such is right. Such is true. Okay, I love you guys. We're raiding into Borderlands 4 this time.